Welcome to the episode 20 of OA Football Show. In the year where 2020 has become the word which is scares everyone, we really look forward to 2020 and episode 20, of course, because we are now only covering one game week. We are covering two game weeks. Yes, December is here. Imagine Jurgen Klopp has been rambling on about fixture congestion, lack of substitutes all this season, and it's not even the start of December. What worse could happen? With all the managers going on to say that there's congestion of fixtures, injuries piling up, Harry Kane maybe probably is pulling his hamstring up. What else? Mourinho could put up again throwing bottles across. Who knows on what are rates? So today in our picture we are going to cover two big matches for these respective game weeks. The first up, the big one, the Manchester Derby. Manchester United hosting Manchester City at Old Trafford. And then quickly following that, in just a gap of 2 days, we have got Tottenham Hotspurs in the prime of their life, perhaps. Even Spurs fan would be surprised with such form that the squad has shown, traveling all the way to Anfield to face Liverpool. So we have got a big picture lined up, and we have got a great host in form of Abhishek from Football Funders and Manchester United Supporters Club Mumbai, who is here to represent his jersey colours, as you can very well see. And we have got Pranay Singh, Manchester City fanatic, who is here to represent his own club in their jersey colours. And I am OA Football Show co-host along with Akshat, who is really waiting to unleash his Liverpool colours out when his turn arrives. So over to you,
Yeah.
Akshat.
Okay, so for the first time, I'm seeing two Manchester fans head on in real life. ठीक है अभी तक सिर्फ टीवी में देखा I mean technically this is also on the screen but then this is far more human than seeing those sitting in England. Okay, so and it's quite a weird time because I love how the fans have been reacting. Like Man City has been playing phenomenal when it comes to Champions League, but they are hitting roadblocks in Premier League. United is probably the most consistent team right now. I mean, they're so consistent in their inconsistency that it actually surprises me. But they are far better in Premier League than their counterparts. So it's a very interesting scenario. Okay, so I'll first of all I'll start off with Abhishek. I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, describe this entire cloud to me. What is happening? What is your reaction to it?
First of all, Akshat, I must say that it's the first time I'm also seeing a City fan in person for the first time of my life. So it is quite interesting to see Pranay, and it's refreshing to see new clubs getting fans. And I mean this in a disrespectful way. I mean, I've been following football for 2 decades now, and I can't imagine Pranay can say the
This
same in the
this
sense that
in 2010, Vishek. I'm sorry, man. I think you've stuck yourself
uh,
with the quarantine for too long, I guess. This is not 2010. This is 2020.
No,
So
I'm aware, which is why I said 2 decades
yeah.
because back in 2002 when I started watching football, I can't imagine you were a fan of Stephen Ireland and Richard Dunn back in the day. But it's good to see. I think the larger point I'm trying to make is that it's good to see footballing fans sprouting up in different clubs as well. It's not just you. It's also good to see the Tottenham Hotspur fan club of India. We've done some work with them as well. And, in 2011, I used to work for goal.com and I wrote an article saying dawn of an era and how in the next 5 years, this was in 2011, I wrote this article and I wrote how in 5 years, the big four will cease to exist. And there will be a new era in the Premier League, where there'll be actually 7 or 8 clubs, contending for it. So, but again, I'm just going to reiterate that wasn't meant in any disrespect. It was actually meant to sort of fuel my own ego to say that what I prophesied in 2011 has actually come true, and it's good to see as much as I hate Man City and as much as I would call Man City fans plastic, I'd also like to remind a lot of fans who call Man City fans plastic that the reason why you're a United fan, or the reason why you're a Chelsea fan, or the reason why you're an Arsenal fan is not because you're born within 200 meters of the stadium or because of anything else, but it's because the club has been successful, and that's the reason why I was a fan of United. So it's good to see a football revolution taking place in India. And coming to what Akshat asked, and coming maybe to kickstart this discussion, first up, pleasure to be here on OI Football Show. It's a confusing one, isn't it? Because here you have a team in Manchester United in 2020. We've won. If you actually look at 2020, the calendar year, we've lost 3 Premier League games. But if you look at the fortunes of the club, it wouldn't reflect that, right? If you ask the United fan, are you happy? Are you ecstatic to have only lost 3 Premier League football matches in 2020? We'd say no. Hang on, that's a representing stat, because it's actually been probably slightly worse off than that. Having said that, the one good thing that I'm looking forward to about this game is that every time we have a major setback, we bounce back really hard. We beat PSG, we beat RB Leipzig 5-0, we beat Newcastle 3-1 after losing 6-1 to Tottenham. We beat West Ham and Everton away after losing to Arsenal. I'm hoping that this is one of those bounce back games for us, where we just come and absolutely demolish Man City. So that's my opening thoughts on this fixture. It's optimism as always, and I'd love to hear what Pranay has to say about Manchester United, because on Manchester City, all I'm going to say is that irrespective of them being 7th on the table, they're also just a point behind United. They can also very well, with a couple of wins in the league, they could be back in the title race. But Pranay will agree with me when I say that, man, how badly do they miss Sergio Aguero? And who would have thought the goals would dry up with just one player's absence? And that's what, for me, is really shocking to see, because Man City were the team that would never rely on one player for goals, and to see them desperately miss a 30-year-old striker is kind of bemusing, especially given that it's Pep Guardiola at the end.
I mean, Abhishek, I agree with you on that front. As I've mentioned that to Aniket and Akshat, in the previous shows as well, the episodes that we did, we were never in this position for so long. Like Aguero was our number 10, and he was scoring constant goals throughout the 4 years, 5 years, he's been scoring goals. So we were never in this position. There has been a void since I feel last year. That when Aguero got injured for, he's been unlucky with the injuries. But of course, when he's totally fit, he's like a mammoth of a player who can, just go out and score as many goals as he can. But what I would agree with even Abhishek is that, the absence of Sergio Aguero is a definitely big blow. It's like, it's like in current scenario, it's like not having Bruno Fernandes in a United team. He's the one who's driving a lot of things. If certainly if let's say Bruno Fernandes gets absent from the United team or gets injured, again it'll be back to United will be something back to the United in 2020 Jan. So I would agree to that. And see, you got to understand that there are sometimes some players that the team is built around. Aguero was our main striker, and the team was built around him. Similarly, what United is doing with Bruno Fernandes right now. So since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, the team is always is building his team around his team around him. So that sometimes one player for each club is too significant to or something he's irreplaceable of. Right now I'm not saying that Aguero is the prime striker, but again we have got De Bruyne, we've got new signings in. But again, as soon as he gets absent, we have seen that Sterling, Ferran Torres, they're too young and they cannot fill up shoe of someone, someone who like we want someone to compete for the title and score as many goals as they want. So it's kind of I still feel that Gabriel Jesus still needs more time. He will be definitely a top class striker, maybe from next year onwards or the season after. Because he's an investment for the future. He came too young. He hasn't got that play time that we all can agree. We have seen only him filling when Aguero is injured. Otherwise, he's coming as a substitute or something. But again, now since he has chances and we are expecting way too much from him. So I know like there has been a lot of dry up of goals up front, but I feel But I feel once Aguero is back and we can pair them, both off, and we'll definitely look forward for the game then.
But then, Pranay, my point is something else. My point is that Manchester City right now is a club with a squad value of 1.08 billion. Just because like this, I don't agree with this reason that Jesus is young and you don't. I mean, you have one of the strongest bench strength in Premier League, but I agree when you say that Sterling is hitting the post more. He's not performing. Bernardo Silva is not performing as where you expect him to be. KDB is not performing where you expect him to be. You are definitely missing someone like Company.
Correct.
So in and you're performing really well when it comes to Champions League matches. Now that probably could be because
Of the
somewhere
opponents.
with all due respect, the opponents are not at the same level. But
Agree.
then somewhere that
It's not RB
reasoning doesn't
Leipzig and
sit
PSG,
with
is
me.
it?
Yeah, I mean, but you, I mean, Man United
Still
lost to
can't
both of them also.
still can't take away that we defeated Real Madrid like 3 months, 4 months back, in the Champions League. That they were one of the title contenders then. Every season Real Madrid is Real Madrid, regardless the form they are in, when it comes to the knockout stages of the Champions League, they're like Brazil 2006 or 2002. Okay, so knocking them off does give us a lot of credibility when it comes to. I agree, we haven't played any strong opponent. We got lost. We lost to Leon, in the Champions League. But again, you can't take away the credibility where it's due. Like we defeated one of the best squads
No,
in
we're
the
not taking away the credibility. No one's taking away the credibility. I mean, even right now, if you were to ask me, a Man United fan is far more disappointed with his team than a Man City fan who actually, somewhere in the back of his head, feels that, don't worry, we'll jump back on. They
Of
have that
course.
confidence in the club.
Yeah.
But the point that we're trying to discuss over here is that the inconsistency and what, according to you, does it all boil down to? Is it because of the captain? Is it because of your striker? Is it because of the team, or is it because of the managerial tactics that Pep
See,
plays?
there is never a team who's absolutely perfect. There is never a team who's absolutely
You
perfect.
were who were
We
almost
were,
perfect.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like player age, you get transfers out. You need to balance. You can't be the same team every season, right? You can't expect
Right.
every team. Even like we see Liverpool, right? Liverpool won the league. They were like the best team in the Europe last year, and they still made a lot of changes. They bought in Jota. So see, changes is the part of the whole process. Like it's the patience that you need to keep with the team. During the start of the season, we didn't had a good defense. Like we were getting a lot of goals against. We lost a lot of games in the starting, but then we got Diaz in the defense. We are finally, our back four looks that I can count on. I think the show that we discussed previously, I told you that
Yeah.
I'm not confident in my back four, but now since the incoming of Brahim Diaz, and this thing, the new defender that has come in, Eric Garcia. So he'll be off, obviously off to
How do you say
Barcelona next.
Nathan Ack?
Yeah, but he's not getting a playing time. But again, he's and even now John Stones is getting a good amount of playing time. He's not improved that much that I feel that I can count on him. But yeah, but our back four is finally sorted. Now coming back to the striker, I think Aguero is now fit for a longer term period. I feel that again, I'll come back to that point that Jesus is the option. But obviously, will if nothing happens, then we'll probably go around. Pep can go around shopping in a mall and get the best striker. Maybe Haaland, for example. Next season, and maybe he will replace Aguero. So see, the team that I wanted to discuss this in the previous episode as well, that there is never a perfect team. You can never have a perfect team, even on the paper or on the playing 11. None of the team is perfect. You need to see the lack of the players. You need to see the strengths they have, and then you have to work on it. So again,
Okay.
it's just a phase, and I feel that the team that will be playing the team that will play this weekend would be pretty much good on paper, and obviously we'll be hoping for a good result.
Okay, so that's a very diplomatic and a political reply because you didn't really zero down on any particular reason, but then you sort of summed it up for me. But okay, I'll leave it over there. But coming to United, I mean, when Pranay was saying he is so confident with his back four now, I feel that is the emotion that United has been missing for a long time. And to add insult to the injury, you have Pogba's whole fiasco off the field, and the strikers are not playing to the level where you expect them. What, according to you, is the core reason for your club's inconsistency?
I love what Pranay said about inconsistencies because, and you just mentioned it. But before I get on to that, I just want to tell Pranay that in his limited experience of punditry and being a fan of Man City, I completely empathize with why he says he's never seen a perfect team and he thinks he doesn't know what a perfect team is, because United fans know what a perfect team is. Man. We won 3 back-to-back titles.
Right? Like
What I'm trying to get at is there is something called a perfect team. There is something called a perfect squad, and it is achievable. It's not a footballing myth. And I think as a United fan, the reason why United fans by and large are left disappointed is because we're used to having a perfect team season in, season out. And what's happened over the last 5-6 years is we haven't had that. But that's a conversation for a different time. One more point that I want to just bring up, speaking about United's inconsistencies about our front force, which is Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Edison Cavani, and Mason Greenwood. We have the same issue that City has, to be honest. And I think Pranay was being very, very kind to his player Raheem Sterling, who, according to me, 20 goals last season, 18 goals in the season before that, 17 goals the season front. He's played Anthony Martial on the left. He's played Mason Greenwood on the right. He's played Mason Greenwood in a number 9, right? So you can't say that the tactics are not working. You can't say that they're being played out of position. What's happening is the players are not stepping up now. Is this a psychological issue? Is there a problem with it kind of hurts me that our best player right now is an attacking midfielder. Like, that's not the ethos of Man United, right? Traditionally, the players that have won us Premier Leagues have always been a number 9 or number 7, players who can bang in 30, 35 goals. And that's been the problem with United off late, that we don't have consistency in attack. Defensively, man,
You got
where
the
do I
best.
even
You got the
start?
best. You got the perfect defender. I just wanted to add that you got the perfect defender in the defense.
John Stones? Oh, sorry, that's
No,
your
you-
defender. Sorry,
he doesn't play for Man United, man. If you
I
would have
am loving this.
I mean, I'm glad Man City fans look at us and say we got the perfect defender, because United fans are real enough to admit that we have a shit defense, right? The only defender I like at the club right now, and he also had a howler a couple of nights ago, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Reason why I say that he's good, because I've seen him play. We've all watched him play. He's got the capacity, and he's got the talent to be a world-class a right wing back and a right back. I'm not happy with the centre backs we have at our disposal. I'm not happy with them at all, be it at a consistency level, be it at a fundamental skill and technical level. I don't rate Victor Lindelof too highly. If you watch my lives, if you watch any of the stuff that I do, you'll know that I call him an ice hockey player, not a footballer. And I mean this with disrespect, right? Because he's not a Manchester United centre back. He's not the kind of players I've grown up watching. And traditionally, if you're not a United fan, you know that a Manchester United centre back is a centre back who A, is one of the best in the world, let alone the league. B, he's a centre back who opposition strikers talk about. They're scared of them. Did you hear Drogba talk about Vidic? You have traditionally a team, Steve Bruce. You have centre backs who are willing to sort of A, in their own right, strike fear in the heart and minds of their opponents, and 2, they're the kind of centre halves who are willing to sort of terrorize their own players. I don't see that in this United defense right now. And Luke Shaw is a completely different ballgame altogether. He's been at the club for 6 years. 6 years now he's been at the club, and Luke Shaw is like another John Stones. He's like any other player. He's overrated because he's English. Even Pranay will agree with me. Overrated. 50 million, 60
that I
million.
agree. English
Luke
players
Shaw,
are
30
too
million. No, you
overrated.
have to agree because it's a fact, Pranay. I'm not asking.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
agree
fact.
to that.
English players are overrated, man. They're overrated because they're English. It's the English Premier League. One player comes out to being having a half decent season. Oh my God, look at him. And that's my other upsetting, my other problem with Man United. Why the investment? Why such high profile investment when they don't pay off? And my last point on Paul Pogba, just get him out. I've always been a big fan of the player. It's unfortunate it's come to this, but irrespective of Mino Raiola's comments, he wasn't starting games for United. So if anything, I'm looking at Mino Raiola's comments and I'm looking at the current conundrum more as a defensive move from his agent. It's not an anti-United move. It's almost like a sign that his agent is on his knees. He's like, dude, I have to do this, otherwise. And let's be honest, guys, if you're Real Madrid's manager, if you're Juventus's manager, you're looking at this transfer with a pinch of salt, right? 300,000 pounds a week for a player who's 28 in a few months, not playing, not starting for Manchester United, not having a great year, just recovered from injury, consistently injury prone. I would actually ask myself, is he really the Paul Pogba that I want to go and now pay United 80, 70, 60 million and disrupt my team by paying him 300,000 pounds a week for the kind of performances he's putting in? I'm just trying to say that he's not the Paul Pogba that, we signed back in 2016. I would be wary. I would be cautious if I had to sign a player like him.
There was some
right.
I was watching the Champions League game last night of the United. There was a few glitters of the Paul Pogba that we know of Juventus. It was for 2 minutes. So I'll keep a 2-minute silence for that. But it was there.
Which again, brother, you make a great point. Would you pay 90 million for 2 minutes of brilliance? Is that the market today? Is that what you're willing to pay?
No, I'll answer that. Not unless it's Divock Origi who is sliding in. Not until then. But then, see, both of you guys have made a very valid point. Both of you guys have very staunchly tried to defend your clubs. But
because my club can't defend.
Okay. So
point.
So talking about Pogba and trying to be a neutral over here, I'm very confident that even when he leaves United, and he will leave United, he'll go and start showing the form of old Paul Pogba of Juventus, and then the United fans will start saying like, what was wrong with him when he was in the United squad.
I won't agree to that. I won't agree to that.
Pranay, I'll tell you why it's actually possible, because he'll go to a farmer's league, man. He'll go to the Serie A.
Yeah.
And it's actually, Alexis Sanchez looks world class again. Romelu Lukaku looks world class again. No disrespect, but you're going to a farmer's league, right? You're going to be playing Brescia, Sampdoria.
But what I like about Aniket's comment was that when we started off OA Football Show, it was a show that was started by a Man United fan and a Liverpool fan. But 20 में से 18 episode, Aniket always comes as Man Neutral fan. Man Neutral.
मुझे फुटबॉल ने भेजा है.
Yeah, that actually sort of personifies the condition of Man United and the faith that the fans have right now.
You can only take limited hits, man.
I'm surprised you're saying that though, Aniket. I don't know. You can't. Just a reminder, I mean, City are still 7th in the table. I know they're in the Champions League, but
we played one game less, Abhishek.
It's not a slight. Baba, you played one game less, but for the way that United are being painted out in the media and the way United are like in the shitter, Oli's going to lose his job.
Exactly.
One game less and you're still 7th. It's not like you're running away with the league.
But we topped the Champions League group and we were through to the
that is the cutest thing I've heard today, man. That is very adorable. And again, I'm going to come back to the whole opposition thing. Well done. Kudos to your team. Congratulations. I wish you well in the Champions League.
My comments are in terms of the Ole sacking, right? Of course, if City crashes out, I'm not too sure, but if City crashes out of Champions League in round of in the group stages and they're not performing well, of course it's gonna happen the same thing to Pep Guardiola. I think the last season when we lost few matches against Liverpool and those series of 3-4 matches that we lose every year. There are always comments in the English press that Guardiola might lose, he's not extending his contract, all that bullshit crap that happens. So I think my comments were in terms of only of Ole sacking in terms of the Champions League. We have seen a lot of managers getting sacked after a bad Champions League performance, and my comments were just limited to that.
Fair. I think
just before coming to the next part of it, I'll just one observation that I have had. एक का बाप पैसा लेता रहता है, एक का बाप पैसा देता रहता है.
You mean the owners? Do you mean the
Yeah.
owners?
Yes.
See,
Obviously, I mean the owners. I mean, I'm not personal
Akshat,
over here,
so
but
I
yeah.
just wanted to add one thing, okay? I just wanted to add one thing. I know in terms of the spending capacity, United is not that you cannot compare with City. You know, of course, you've got the oil money, so there's no comparison.
Pranay,
Okay,
we've spent,
I'm gonna
Pranay. You know, United
I'm
fans don't think like that. United fans think
no
we've
so
spent.
okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Abhishek, coming back to your point, if you see the last season transfers or way before, okay, you've got 80, you the owners have spent the money. Don't deny the fact that owners have not spent the
That's what
money.
I just said.
They
That's
have,
what I
yeah,
just said. I'm saying it's United fans don't say that we don't spend. The problem
but
that
it's
we
not,
say is we don't
it's
spend on the right players.
correct.
We
So
have
if
never
you
said
see,
we have never said we don't spend money. Last season we spent 150, 160 million. My
yeah,
worry with last season was we didn't sign Jadon
good players,
Sancho on the
yeah,
right wing.
yeah,
We needed the right winger. We didn't sign him. Ended up signing again. Pranay, I'm not exactly your point. That's what I just said before you made it. Right. The problem with United is that we are signing absolute blonkers, tinkers, like idiots. Like
Maguire.
Edison Cavani. Even Maguire was a good signing at the time, but 80 million, dude. Leicester took us, man, for 80 million. Let's be honest.
85 million, yeah,
It's a bit like, and I hate to
and
go back to John
our
Stones, but John
maximum,
Stones 50,
yeah,
Kyle Walker 50,
our
Harry
maximum,
Maguire
yeah.
80. It's an English footballer thing.
See, cities the most expensive signing is 60 million. That's the cap. That's the cap. And we always try to get players below 60 million, and then we resell it. जैसे भी आगे अपने को करना रहता है, हम आगे resell करके we make the money back. The problem with United is it's first the signings are way too expensive. They have, see, owners have spent the money, but when you, again, it's where you are investing your money. If you go back to owners saying that, okay, our last transfer was 85 million Harry Maguire, and this is what his performance, and Paul Pogba for a record 120 million fee, and that the performance. So why would, and the owner doesn't have confidence, in the system putting that money back, like, so that's the fair issue that I see. See,
I
again,
think
there have been bad signings, and see, if you compare it with Chelsea, they have absolutely taken the transfer market by storm. They have got the best players. Let's face it, they have the best transfer strategy. In the last 2 seasons that I feel they have made also an error of
They didn't
getting
have a
Kepa.
transfer market 2 seasons ago.
so.
I get what
No,
you're
no.
saying last
Yeah.
I'm
season.
saying in terms of, but they had a strategy that they were banned for 2 years, and now once the ban was lifted, they went on the market. They got the best players, in the market, and now look at their team. They've got Werner, Ziyech. Everyone looks so synchronized. Even they have never played before, with each other. So coming back to the point, to the Akshat point, it's not about paise dena, paise lena. The amount you see, even we have spent $1 billion in the defense, right? But we have tried to recoup that by winning trophies, and I
More than
think,
Haiti's defense budget.
yeah, of course. So it's not about not spending money. United owners have also spent money, which I don't know why, irrespective of United fans saying that our owners are taking out the money, Glazers out, and all of that. It's just the bad strategy that they have followed.
I think in case of United, there's no strategy because let's be very honest. Man City, Chelsea, even Liverpool, they have a director of football. They are making the decisions, and that's where even all the United fans, their entire rant goes over the fact that we are not signing the right players because there's not right person who's signing the right players. You have across the sea, you've got Van der Sar doing a fantastic job at Ajax, a club legend at United as well, a very natural fit. And in fact, there's not even a single person who would have approached Van der Sar and said, "We need a director of football. We have been delaying it for like 3, 4, 5 years, God knows how many. You are a natural fit. Why not you come over and take that opportunity?" So again, in case of United, there's no strategy at all. It's just random. अंधेरे में तीर मारो तो चल गया. So that's it. In fact, a lot of United fans, and even I wonder if there was no Bruno Fernandes. And even in Bruno Fernandes transfer case, the
It was
files were clear on 1st January 2020, and it went all the way to 29th January 2020. It's like 29 days to wrap up a deal when you are at the edge. At this point of time, any club can really come in, swoop in with all the money and the trophies that you can show. You leave yourself exposed, you leave your back exposed, and get fucked up right after. Donny van der Beek, all the entire fiasco that's happened. There's no need for that player yet.
Yeah.
Yes, he has been signed as a Pogba replacement in scenario that Pogba leaves, then there will be less of this Donny van der Beek noise. But as Abhishek pointed out, there was a need for Jadon Sancho on the right wing. Again, Sancho has been having a horrific season. So you might defend the club by saying that they again did not have the Leicester moment where Leicester really took us for a swan song and got 80 million out of for Harry Maguire. So Dortmund would have got 120 million out of it. So for the first time, a little bit good. But they should have signed a player who's not Pelistri, who's not Ahmad Diallo, someone who can fucking play on the right wing, and then put in the process, put the load out of Van Bissaka, who's a right back and not right. So over to you, Abhishek.
See, that's where it hurts. बिकॉज यहाँ पे तुम लोग खरीद रहे हो, तुम लोग 100 मिलियन की बातें करते हो, हमारे वहां सब मरे हुए पड़े हैं, हॉस्पिटल में लेटे हुए हैं, हमारा मैनेजर बोला ये छोटे को ला, छोटे को.
But Firbi, you guys are showing some serious resilience, man. Like to beat Wolves 4-0 like that was
in that form. Yeah.
I was telling a United fellow friend of mine, United fan, I was telling him this reminds me a lot of Ferguson in 20. Pranay won't know this because he was not a football fan then. In 2009, in that season we had a lot of injuries. In fact, our main centre back Rio Ferdinand was out. Vidic had to partner with Johnny Evans. All kinds of mash. But then we broke the clean sheet record in that season. And I was just telling him how this is the mark of an actual good team. When you have आधे लोग मर पड़े हैं hospital में and you still have results, and not results like 3-2, 4-3, 4-0 against Wolves. It's solid, man. Like that's the mark of a team that has a squad, a team that's willing to compete, a team that's unified, a team that can go and win back-to-back Premier Leagues. That is the mark of a perfect team. And I think Liverpool are on their way to achieving what United have been for many years, which is actually being the perfect team in many rights.
I would like to just add one point. I like how Abhishek goes back to the time, like the decade. I don't know, like he skipped the decade or something. He press a skip button and he's like in 2020. But anyways, Abhishek, coming back to the point, again, it's not a perfect team. If you see the team that Ferguson played in the Champions League final or even in any of those league games, maybe in 2009, 2011, it wasn't a perfect team then. And the handover which was given to
you're saying our 2009 team wasn't perfect? Our 2008 team wasn't perfect?
I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying that it was all Alex Ferguson. Okay, the handover that team, the 2010-2011 squad, which was when Alex Ferguson retired. Okay,
he retired in 2013, mate.
Yeah, 2013. That's what I'm saying.
After winning the league.
After winning the league, yeah, of course. After City won the league, you guys won the league. He went to the retirement happily. You're telling me that it was a perfect team. I don't agree to that. It was all Alex Ferguson magic.
I said 2009. I didn't say 2013, mate.
So
no,
in fact, every decade has seen that perfect team. So 2002 would be Arsenal, 90s would be Liverpool, and 2009
Bayern Munich, and of course
90s was Liverpool. 80s was Liverpool actually.
Towards the end of the 80s, yes.
But Abhishek, I just want to add one point is that it's just Alex Ferguson. It was Alex Ferguson who has, even if you give him the shittiest team in the planet, that's what I believe, because I have a huge respect.
Mate, you believe that because you never watched football back then. That's what I'm trying to connect you with. I'm trying to say that in 2013, which was about 1 or 2 years into you following City, yes, it wasn't the right squad and it was an aging squad, but it was still a Premier League winning squad, which we now learn to respect, because back then, believe me when I say this, United fans, Ferguson ke nikalne ke baad, I have realized how difficult it is to win the league. Believe me when I say this, I grew up thinking league to आसानी से जीतते हैं, हम लोग Champions League क्यों नहीं जीतते? That was the quality of the side. Today I sit thinking, today United fans sit thinking, man, I wish we enjoyed those years, dude. There was a time, Aniket, I don't know if you supported United, but dude, I remember 2002 when I started supporting United. 2003 we won the league and FA Cup, Millwall. But 2004 we finished third in the table. That too on the last day we finished third. Otherwise we were second. And I remember feeling devastated. Like my heart sank. Like I was like, yuck, we finished third. Dude, today the landscape has changed. Today we finished third. I'm like, theek hai yaar, third to finish kya. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, dude. I have seen a team that has been perfect. And when I say you're saying Alex Ferguson, bhai, that's because you've not seen Alex Ferguson at his prime. In 2009, we had Dimitar Berbatov on the bench. Dude, Dimitar Berbatov was one of the world's greatest strikers. Pranay, I mean this in the best possible way.
I know.
This was one of the best teams in the world that has ever existed. People compare Man City under Guardiola, even today, people compare Klopp's
Of course,
Liverpool of
of
Salah,
course,
Mane
of course.
to Sir Alex Ferguson's Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez. And I tell people, come back to me when your Mane, Salah, and whoever that third cartoon is, Firmino, come back to me when De Bruyne, Sterling, and Aguero win 3 back-to-back Premier Leagues and a Champions League in 3 years. Then we'll talk about great teams. Then we'll talk about it. All I'm trying to say is, see, let's also be cognizant of the fact that football has changed. In 2007, 2008, you did not have 8, 9 Premier League teams fighting
Competing
for the
for the
title.
title, correct.
You did, but that's also because United were also that good that time. Today, you also have 8, 9 teams. Well, 8, 9 is a bit of a push. You have 5, 6 Premier League teams pushing for the title because football has changed. Money has come in. Tottenham Hotspur have evolved. Man City have spent like no other. Arsenal, look at Arsenal's decline. People talk about 6 teams competing for the Premier League. Look at Arsenal's decline.
They're
Arsenal,
not even in top
unfortunately,
6. Yeah.
you know, Pranay, I tell people again, Arsenal fans, a lot of my friends are Arsenal fans because we come from that generation. Even today, if you ask me, someone like me, what is the most hated, the most fiercest game that you watch? For me, it's
Arsenal
not
United,
Manchester
yeah,
Derby.
yeah.
It's not Liverpool United. For me, it's United Arsenal because वो खुन्नस था Arsenal fans के खिलाफ.
Patrick
Because
versus
we
Roy. Yeah,
exactly we grew
yeah.
up in that era, right? So
I
you
watched
know,
all of that.
one sad thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to end because I know I'm yapping on and I'm getting very nostalgic. But one sad thing that I'll tell you about football is it's so sad that this philosophy of you need to spend to be successful has come true. Because we used to all watch City in 2010 saying, अरे इतना पैसा खर्चा कर रहे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, but कुछ हुआ है इनके साथ. And Arsenal fans used to say कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. Look at our model, look at us, beautiful football. We'll be back. Arsenal have just regressed, and today they've regressed into oblivion, man. And it goes to show that football has changed. For people like us, it's changed for the worse. But if you look at it in absolute terms, in what reality is today, football has become such a better sport to watch because no more are you talking about 1 or 2 teams winning the league. You're talking about right now, Everton were fucking top of the league 3 weeks back, right? Things to watch in football. And I just want to say that that's the reason why I keep harping on about perfection, Man United. And that's honestly Bruno छोड़ो, Oli छोड़ो, Pogba छोड़ो. United fans का खुन्नस ये है कि we are not that anymore. We are a team that is fighting for 4th. That's what pisses me off the most today. We used to run away with the league, Pranay. We used to run away. 10 game weeks in, 6-point ka gap, 9-point ka gap. Today, 10 game weeks in, we're 6th on the freaking table, man. And we're still talking about top 4. That is the problem. And Akshat, I hope I've answered your question. That is the underlying problem with a United fan today. Not about Oli out, not about Pogba, not about inconsistency. It's that हम लोग कहाँ पे आ गए हैं यार? ये क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे? You know, that is my closing statement.
So
Let's talk about this fixture in particular. We'll talk about Pranay's views, what he thinks about this match that is up on Sunday, and what he thinks would be a probable scoreline, who he thinks would be a game changer for Man City, and then we'll go to Abhishek to wrap that up because obviously we have to give away team a little bit credence.
Of course. So I'm pretty confident that goes without saying that I'm pretty confident. With the game. I feel if you personally ask me, this would have been a different landscape if United didn't crash out of Champions League. Like, this is my personal thought. I just feel that if they were not crashing out of the Champions League, because there is this burden, like there is this mental thing that you get, after you're not qualified for the Champions League, and then you're going back to a game which is probably the biggest game, because when the calendars come out, City fans are like, when is the derby happening? So we see the derbies, and I think same goes with Manchester United fans. Of course, it's the Arsenal which he just mentioned, but again, it's the Manchester derby. So I'm very confident only about the fact that United has crashed out of the Champions League. Aguero came out on 70th minute, so he's pretty fit. He's back to he has always that form against the top 4 clubs. I always captain Aguero in my fantasy team whenever he's playing top 4 team, regardless of whatever team that he's playing. He's always scored goals, so he's the total game changer. But again, in the last week of episode, I also mentioned that Ferran Torres, he's like the most underrated player in the City squad. That's what I feel. He's going to be, again, either it's Aguero or Ferran Torres that will be a game changer for me. For United, again, I feel maybe they will just try to prove too hard because this has happened previously as well. Because we lost the previous derby against Manchester United, and they were in a very bad form then, and still we lost that game. So there is this thing that I get, maybe United will try to prove their point back. Ole might win next 4 games and keep his job back. So that's the only thing that I fear about. But rest, I'm pretty confident about my the back four and Aguero coming back in the squad. So that's it.
What's the predicted scoreline?
See, I feel it's gonna be probably 3-1 or 2-1, because I'm pretty sure Harry will gift us some few goals, and Aguero won't miss. So I'm going for at least 2 goals or minimum, and they might score one in the penalties. So 2-1 to be very realistic.
All right, let's go across.
But
to
I
Abhishek.
just have one
Yeah.
point to this. I heard, I mean, I saw it on Twitter where Pep said that Aguero is not starting. Will that be
Okay.
a worry for you?
Then we've got Gabriel Jesus. I'm not too
Who
sure.
is young in the team? Who's
Yeah, he's
not
pretty
really
young, but
sure.
I'm pretty sure that Aguero will come out in the half time.
Alright.
Yeah, and maybe like I told you, like Ferran Torres might, or Sterling might play, number 10 in his position, and Aguero might come in. But Aguero will definitely play, man, and he's gonna score a goal. Even if he plays 10 minutes, man, he's gonna get a goal. I'm super confident with him.
All right.
Let's move across to Abhishek to hear his views on who he thinks would be the game changer, what he thinks would pan out in the game, and what is his predicted scoreline.
Yeah, right. I mean, City's defense does look good. In the last 8 games that they've played in all competitions, they've kept 7 clean sheets. So kudos to them. That too, the one clean sheet they didn't keep was because they played Liverpool. That too, Mohamed Salah had to score against them. So there is a point there that City's defense is going to be a little hard to crack. Having said that, we are at our best when we're at our worst, unfortunately. When like I mentioned at the start of the show, right? Every time we've had a setback, we bounce back really hard. And I'm hoping this game again continues in that trend and we bounce back really hard. Manchester derbies are more than just form. I think Pranay will agree when I say that it's never about form in a derby, right? Any derby, Liverpool, Everton, Merseyside, North London derby, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's being the best on that day, that particular day. It's about being best at that particular day.
Absolutely. It's almost a 50-50, irrespective of where the two teams are on the table. So I'm hoping it's a good feisty encounter. I think men to watch out from United. I think Bruno Fernandes looks arguably not just one of the best players in the league, one of the best players in the world right now, right? Because even in that game that we lost to against RB Leipzig, and this is something that you need to watch. If you watch United games, you'll understand why I say that, right? In that game against RB Leipzig, he could have scored 3 goals. He hit the crossbar twice, and he still managed to get a penalty in that. He is arguably one of the world's greatest players today on form. And I think that's why he can easily make the difference for us. And I think he will make the difference for us. It's a game at Old Trafford. It's a game at home. United have a point to prove. Here's the shocking part. I do think Paul Pogba will play in this game. I even have a hunch that he might start. I would hate to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go defensive, because compared to how Pep and his teams usually set up, Pep and Man City are there for the taking, right? Because they haven't gone off to a flyer this season. They've had their vulnerabilities. They've had their sort of weaknesses, laid bare in the Premier League this season. I just want to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer put out an attacking lineup. I want to see Donny van de Beek start. I don't want to see 5 at the back. I want to see 4 at the back. I don't want to see Lindelof and Maguire again having 3 defensive midfielders, or Aaron Wan-Bissaka again playing with a Telles and a Williams ahead of him. I want to see an attacking, a mature lineup that shows intent that, hey, you know what, we're here to score. Because if it's one thing that we've not struggled to do this season, surprisingly, is score. We've been scoring goals, and I think there will be a lot of goals in this game. I think United will take this 3-2.
And do you think they'll play 3 at the back or 4 at the back, or what's the prediction for the lineup for you?
I'm really hoping they play 4 at the back. I don't think after that debacle against RB Leipzig, he'll again go with the mistake of playing 3 at the back. I think it was also about, against RB Leipzig, we needed a point to qualify. So Oli was almost like, I understand why he went with 5 at the back, or as my colleague Kern will say, he went with 10 at the back, because it was about getting a point and not about getting the win. But against City, it's about getting 3 points. For us, for a club like United, and even Pranay will tell you, even Akshat, you'll tell me that in any derby game, it's never about a point. It's always about 3 points.
3 points, yeah.
3 points and bragging rights. Yeah. All right. That was a
Fun.
that was fiery. I think
Yeah.
in these 20 episodes, this episode is going to be the most special because of not just us talking about the game, we literally went across past and decade and
Because we found a
what
City fan.
all.
I'm just kidding.
No, in fact,
The
if we
kind of
go
United
across,
form, the kind of which United is right now, we'll be saying that probably in 5 years or decade after.
No, but then what Abhishek said is actually true because we actually had a really hard time finding a City fan. We
Even the
actually
club has
wanted
a
to
hard time.
feature.
Come on, Abhishek,
Okay,
you've been attending. You
enough
must
banter,
be
guys.
attending. Come on, you must be
Pranay, it's
attending.
never a derby. It's never a derby without banter, and
Of
it's
course.
never a United City discussion without banter. But quite frankly, pleasure to speak to you, Pranay. Pleasure to be on your show, Akshat, Aniket. Thanks so much, man. I hope I hope it's a good game, and I hope we win.
Abhishek, who do you hate more, Liverpool or City?
Arsenal, I guess. Yeah.
Traditionally,
But
traditionally
that doesn't
Liverpool
mean.
again because after the Arsenal rivalry, it's always been
This
Liverpool.
is Liverpool.
I'll still tell you, I don't know if it's arrogance on the part of United fans or if it's whatever, but you know, genuinely for me, City. Now Pranay might say banter kar rahe hai fir se, but this is the psyche of a United fan, right? I still don't see City as City. For me, it's more about Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and Liverpool for me are like right there because I think it's also because City fans आज दिखने लग गए इंडिया में. Otherwise, why do you hate a club? Because you meet this guy जिसके साथ रोज banter होता है, जिसके साथ रोज City fans के साथ, even when Aguero, when that happened, it's not like I had City fans going on my face saying, ha, look at us. Now, कल परसों से अभी City fans आने लग गए, so maybe in the next 5 years, City fans will become annoying. City fans का rivalry बढ़ेगा, but City is not in terms of like khunnas. When I used to work in this company called Director in Bombay, my boss was a Liverpool fan. Manas Singh, who was a presenter on Sony, we were in the same team. He was a Liverpool fan. So वो banter रोज का banter khunnas. So that's why you end up hating. That's what my brother is an Arsenal fan. So United Arsenal rivalry. You end up hating Arsenal क्योंकि if you score, fuck you वो सब होता है. City के साथ तो कभी हुआ नहीं है. If you lose a game to City, you just have yourself like, ठीक है, we lost. You don't have that City fan saying, that's
City is your
that's the reason why
Everton, basically.
there's
City
no
is your
rivalry.
Everton. Yeah.
but so I think in a time, years to come by, you might not just have City fans, you might end up having Spurs fans. You already got Spurs fan clubs in India, which
True.
has become quite a news to me. And if they end up doing what is being rumored at this point of time, you might actually start seeing that happen. I think it's a pace. I know I hate Chelsea fans the most because that's when I started watching football seriously, and Chelsea was on the top, and I was supporting United. So my cutthroat rivalry starts with Chelsea and then goes on to Liverpool. And of course, my hatred with Chelsea City actually started after that entire Carlos Tevez thing because I love Tevez in United colors. And then watching him in City and then scoring against us, it made me really hate both the player and the club. So again, it's a period, and you will have Liverpool. The better the club gets, the more hatred it gets from the new fans at that point of time. So if Liverpool continues on its rise, or if Spurs comes up, they
I
have
think
a
with
natural.
Liverpool, just wanted to interrupt, Aniket. With Liverpool, it's just fans coming out of the caves. Like we see Arsenal fans now being back to the cave. They're just hiding somewhere. As soon as Arsenal start winning, maybe you never know.
No,
Like
that's a long thing.
but with
Pranay, I don't
Liverpool,
know why, but a lot of my friends are actually Liverpool fans, and for me, I believe it stems from that 2005 Champions League win. And I know that one thing. I'll be honest with you. I'll be very honest with you. Liverpool fans in the darkest of days, which is from 2006 to 2017, 18,
the Kenny
they were
Dalglish era,
more
yeah.
vocal than United fans. They were more vocal than City fans. They were more
Even though
optimistic
playing,
than Chelsea fans.
I agree to that because even
But
though
then we
they were
never
playing
went out
Europa
of
League,
top four. We never went out of top 4 or top 6. We never
No,
went
you're
that
playing.
bad.
You're playing Europa. Come on,
Yeah,
man. Come
You
yeah,
on.
went out of top
You-
6. Jurgen Klopp
Yeah.
finished 8th. What? दो दिन
Yeah,
पहले तो he
yeah.
finished 8th यार. तो
अब
क्या?
वो 2 महीने पहले आके मतलब उससे बोलने लगे चैंपियनशिप जीत जैसे थोड़ी ना होता है मतलब. ठीक है, but the point that I'm trying to make is that Liverpool was always trying hardest. They were not producing results. They were bad days, but we were always there trying a level best. So yeah.
Like Manchester United.
only we didn't spend 85 million on a defender then.
I think the point I'm trying to make is यार वो देखने वाले के आंखों से मतलब हमेशा it feels यार I'm trying. I remember Aquilani was supposed to be the Paul Pogba signing back then. I remember no, it's not banter, but I get where you come from, Akshat, because you guys are probably looking at me thinking ये बंदा इतना optimistic कैसे है? ये इतना fuck all team है United इतना ये वो, but if you ask me, we are trying, ये try कर रहे वो try. I get the Liverpool sentiment, man. So.
No, on the contrary, I hate City more than United. I'll be very honest. Just because of the recent rivalry. I'm being very honest. Just because of the recent rivalry and the way City gets fund and we don't, and the way City can, strengthen their squad, and we are like always, searching for that. We're trying to overcome that in our own way. We have been producing some brilliant academy players.
But again, I wanted to just add this. I don't know, like why there has been. Of course, we have spent a lot of money. That's true. Okay, I'm not denying to that fact. But there were always teams that were doing this since years. Like you see Chelsea doing that since years. There was Real Madrid, who were like the City is right now. What City is the Real Madrid of 2005. Or even Real Madrid every time. Okay, you get the best of the players. You see best of the players, and you go shopping with your handbag, and you just buy best players. And you make a squad. So this is not something that was new, which has happened with City. This has always been happening with Chelsea, the Roman Abramovich era, when he took over the club, and then he started getting players, splashing the money, on players. Real Madrid doing it with Beckham, Ronaldo, Kaká, and all of those players. So I don't know, like why is it just City where
Sir, we lost by 1 point. We just lost by 1 point and some centimeters, to be very honest. So but then.
But United lost at the last second. Okay, you cannot take that away.
I think no one if you want to make someone a football fan, that particular recording could be that. I think in terms of that entirely, it's like Mumbai का example. Antilla एक आपके पास है और Antilla के बाजू में खड़े होकर बोल रहे हैं गाना तो जाके. So that's how it will always be. And Chelsea के case में लोगों को लगा कि one off है. When Man City came across, okay, सारा Chelsea का गुस्सा Man City. That will always be the case. So we've got a very extended recording about the entire Manchester derby. So I think we'll just take a quick short break, get some air, get some breath of fresh air, and then cover game week 13. So I think, Akshat बाद में edit. So Abhishek, I think you've got to drop off. So man, first thing first, we loved having you there in the show, and along with Pranay, I think both of you had the perfect thing you need in a show like this. We were craving for such fun, such rivalry, such fierceness.
Banter.
Coming. And banter, of course. Banter to by default. And so, brilliant stuff, Abhishek and Pranay, both of you, for showing off your true colors and representing the jerseys that you're wearing. Super fantastic. Again, I'm being neutral, but fantastic.
Thank you guys. The way you guys staunchly defended your own clubs with logical or illogical reasons, with convincing or unconvincing reasons, but it was fun. It was so much fun to have both of you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
All
the best, guys.
Thank you,
Abhishek.
Cheers.
Yeah. Thank you.